Thank you, Dr. Berndtson, for coming today. You made a long trip, and you have horrible connections with your departure time tomorrow at 5:10 a.m. out of DFW, but we really appreciate you being here, and we would like for you to give us a little bit more background on of yourself personally, where you practice, where you come from, your training.
Okay, I went to Rush Medical School, became enamored with family practice, and went into it, and learned pretty early that it was pure rhetoric. Did it for 10 years as a sort of factory issue, family doctor, and decided to get out and joined a practice that did integrative medicine and what's called functional medicine, and I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, it was liberating, and what I found over the years, though, is that as stimulating as it was to come up with care plans to help people that put more thought into the process, that the outcomes weren't as predictable as I would have hoped, and so I started my own practice and invited patients with medically unexplained illnesses that persisted despite usual medical care or even excellent medical care. And they would come to see me, and there were a handful of conditions that I would see. There was gluten sensitivity, celiac permissive gluten sensitivity, leaky gut, mast cell activation syndromes, and so forth, Lyme and tick-borne illnesses. And we worked, and it was very easy to fix the gluten sensitives. The other ones were a little more difficult. And just like with Sonia, somebody came in with the book Mold Warriors, which is that thick, and it took me a while. It took me a while to get into it. I had a long weekend, and I got hooked on it, and then I was kind of diving in, to everything else that had been published, and trying to make sense of that, not succeeding in every way, but became certified, and now the patients are coming. It's been 2.5, 3 years later, and like Mary had said earlier, you can get overwhelmed, but at the same time, if you can manage the practice efficiently, you can keep up, and there are so many people desperate for help, and it feels very good indeed to be able to help them and care. So, like I said when I almost brought myself to tears, is that I couldn't be more happy than to be where I am right now.
It's hard to ask another question that you haven't already discussed in your presentation. You did such a wonderful job. You might maybe touch on, and we'll let you go, on how you interact with the other certified doctors in the program. How's that going for you?
It's wonderful. We had the second international conference on SIRS, mold and wet buildings, and the same group that you saw here today were sharing information with each other and developed presentations that were superb and integrated well with each other. We communicate with each other. We share our problems and concerns. You're not going to be doing this alone if you step into this ring.
So you have the ability to go to these different conferences and then prepare presentations in such as this one, a virtual conference. Do you use the listserv that's available?
Yeah, the listserv is very good for addressing good questions and steering discussions in various directions. People will post links, what about this, what about that, and we bat that around, and we come to a reasonable consensus a lot of the time. There's a lot of humor. It's part of camaraderie in a community. You just like being in it.
Well, we certainly appreciate you being in it and being here today.
All right,
thank you.